I ordered 5 things from one vendor, and they sent me 2 things in one shipment and 3 things in another shipment. So we wanted
multiple shipments can be allowed, but this is not the correct way to handle it.
okay.
I will cut off this.
Okay.
But PO can have many shipments.
Okay.
So the PO line, PO has many PO lines. Item number. See, here is item number, and here is inventory number.
Yeah. Well,
That's,
we'll
that we'll have
explain.
to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So shipment number, date, against which PO. Okay, what vendor number?
Yeah, as I say, so there actually is. We do have the PO number tied. We did have that tied, so it just wasn't dictated. That is just a mistake on that one.
So
then we have so we've got the shipment, and then ultimately
vendor shipment number and item number, not invent. What is it?
So inventory number is how we are bringing in items into our. So here's how we figure this would work. So we just got a vendor shipment. It's a pallet of a certain number. So I'm going to create a new item in our inventory. This is actually an auto number. Okay. And then so item number, we know that the item that it is. We increase our inventory in stock because we're increasing it by the number that we've received. We update it with a warehouse location about where I'm actually going to be storing that inventory from this order. Then if there's any conditioning or a description, I will enter it here. Is it damaged? Anything like that. This is also important because we can have stuff come into the warehouse from returns. We can also send things out via our ordering process. So that's the reason why we use this auto key here. And so the computer would have to take care of that.
But see, right now we are here.
Right.
So some shipment came from the vendor. So each shipment has
Many lines.
Many lines.
Correct.
So each line is a separate item number.
Yeah. Because if you
But then
if
they
you
could
if you
be
got,
on the same pallet. So then the pallet could have 2-3 invent.
but you wouldn't send you got a pallet, but you would ultimately divide it up by how if it's 2 items on the same pallet, you would split those up because obviously you wouldn't want to store them in the same
also
place.
The quantity. Actually, my personal feeling is that we can just stick to the item numbers.
Okay, if you would like to, we can.
Because then this quantity is for that item number.
Right.
So now you're by this aggregate. I don't know what the inventory number is.
Well, we also just wanted to really. So what would happen if they couldn't ship us? We ordered 20 of something, but we ended up ordering. We put in an order, and on that order was 10 of that item. That's the reason why we called for it. For
10 is okay.
Yeah.
10. Then next time they will send another 10, so make it up to 20. So
Right.
against.
But that would be on a different shipment on a different line.
So it's okay. This particular shipment has this item in this
Right.
much quantity.
Correct.
So I will make it item number. That will make it kind of easy to work with this.
Okay.
So item number. So vendor shipment number and item number, and so date received is basically is for the document. So that doesn't belong here. It belongs here. You get a shipment from the vendor. There is a certain date that applies to all these items. They supplied 5 items.
That is an excellent correction.
So vendor shipment number and item number and the quantity. You should have a little bit more columns here. Quantity received,
Okay.
quantity accepted, quantity rejected. So it gives you the full flexibility for documenting.
Okay.
They supplied 100, 70 accepted, 30 rejected. And
Okay.
then there has to be some way to then return it back to the vendor.
Right.
So you can have
Well, what are you trying to draw?
rejected return note.
Okay.
So that can correspond to this. That
just write what you want.
Yeah,
So rejected return note.
Rejected return note. And so this will be
But-
RRN line. Because if 2-3 items got rejected, then there'll be 2-3 lines on that.
Yeah. So if you could please explain to me one of the big problems that we had when we were going through this is, so what is the information that is stored in our note entity here that isn't stored in this table here?
This will give you on what date it was sent back, under what truck number, or what through FedEx or through whatever UPS ground, and there's a specific note number. That on note number 11, return note number 1196.
So like
they
date,
can be
return method, payment.
date, and then so this will give how many quantity and which items were returned, and then
From
it
this
will also
information.
give the reference to the vendor shipment number against what vendor shipment number was this return.
Okay.
And so, but the date of return and return note number and this number, they will be distinct.
Okay.
And then this can have multiple lines, because if there are 2-3 items got rejected, then 2-3 items are going back.
Okay.
Now, generally we like to keep this thing simple. It say that he sent 50 and we got 50 rejected. He sent 150, got rejected. Next week he sent another 150 and then another 20 got rejected. So total rejected became 70. Do I send all these 70 in one document? But then in the accounting wise, it'll be a trouble.
Right.
Or same way, like we placed the order for 50, but then there was more requirements. I placed another order for 100. It's best to amend it to 150, but let's say they already done something, so we send another order for 100. So then when the supplies come, we don't want to mix up the one. They should not send one delivery note or one whatever the vendor document, combining from 2 different orders, because then the payment processing, everything will be a trouble.
Return one in, one out.
Means it should have 1-to-1 relationship from the order to the shipment.
Gotcha.
For one order, you could have 2-3 shipments,
Okay.
but one shipment cannot combine from 2 different orders. Then the payment processing will become a trouble. It won't get automated treatment. Then you have to manually make sure which order it is and so.
Excellent.
Okay, so now we got the receipts, so we got the order placed, and then this can also be linked like this, how much is ordered, so how much came, and that can come in 2, 3, 4 shots.
Well, it wouldn't be the.
Means like an order,
Yeah.
for one order we can have 4 or 5 shipments.
Right. Yeah, and I get that, but I wouldn't necessarily want to connect these two lines.
Okay, means you don't need to connect them.
Yeah.
But here we have the, okay. So it's not critical anyway.
Okay.
So then these things go and link to the
Yeah,
the
to
receipt.
our main
Yeah.
inventorying table.
I would not call it as an inventorying table. I will just call it as a product or item or part.
Well, we do have item as well, which is actually like the specific of the item.
That's a bit confusing. It should be because we got rid of the inventory number business here, because the quantity links to the item. This quantity is for this item.
So the advantage of having the inventory number here is that it's a transaction tracking in terms of the warehouse, whether or not we removed something, whether or not we added something, if we moved it from one location to another location. And then it's also important when we're doing our inventory calibration process. Let's say I send someone out to do a manual count on something, and they say, "Oh crap, we're short 50 on something." We would have an entry in here saying, "Okay, outstock 50, description."
Yeah, but that
lost.
we need a separate record of inventories done and physical count versus actual quantity on hand, and the discrepancy. And there'll be some kind of inventory count number through which we'll pass the adjustment, but we have a record of all the adjustments made.
Right, and that's what this is this is the culmination of all the adjustments.
But the thing is, now I got the quantity, say I got for a certain item, quantity accepted is say 70.
Okay.
So that 70
70 would come in, and then we'd say, okay, here's our auto key that we created. We have our item number.
Yeah.
We have it would be an in stock of 70, and then we'd have our location about where we stored that stock, and then if there was anything about condition or a description on that.